to share with you how to avoid a common mistake during the jerk exercise. And by fixing it, the jerk will get much easier. And that's about transitioning from the rack fixation into the first dip. And well, we'll skip the rack fixation itself this time, and assuming that you have a good rack fixation, and it's often the case that athlete can perform a decent rack with the arms attached to the torso and elbows on the stomach, like tucked in. It's either a long cycle or it's a jerk only. But then what happens next is being so focused on legs, athletes forgot about the elbows, and what it might look like, the transition from the rack into the first dip is pelvis. It basically looks like a squat, not a dip, where kind of posture gets straightened and pelvis kind of moving slightly back, which is engaging the quads, but see what happens. We're losing the elbow connection, meaning from resting elbows and carrying weight on the pelvis in the rack. Now, when it's actually the most important moment to keep it this way, we're losing this connection and shifting the weight back on the chest and engaging the upper body and pushing the bells from the chest using quite a lot of arms. So we shouldn't do that. And again, I feel like it's like once you're thinking about it, it's not the difficult mission, especially if you know how to do the rack. Just keep it just for a little bit longer. So you're in the rack. And when you go into the first dip, first especially if you're trying to sort it out, don't rush. So you don't need to rapidly drop in the first dip, just go slow. So what you do is, instead of doing a classic squat, we're bending up, we're even not really unlocking the joint. It's more like kind of like a bow, where I'm kind of resisting to really unlock the knee, and it somewhat stretches and bend, but not really actual unlock of the knee here. So that will be a kind of a very tight, first dip where quad is still engaged and it's not really turned off the knee lockout. I still kind of keep the somewhat lockout on, but kind of just stretching the muscles a little bit, and that gives me lots of good energy then to start the bump. So we keep the heels on the ground. Another way to think about it is, or look at it, is we don't want to break the line of the hip and the torso, so it should stay straight. So when you go to the first dip, you keep this line straight, and you're breaking it by moving the pelvis back. That's what we don't want to happen. So now when your first dip starts to look something like this, you see this line is broken. So don't do that. Keep it straight, like this. We also don't want to, even if you do a good legs work and you keep the pelvis under the elbows resting well, you don't want to lean back either. You don't want to, when you lean back, you're again taking a bit of a load from under the elbow and shifting it on the chest. So still a bit less weight here. So you want to keep all the weight under the elbow. So just stay upright here. And well, you're squeezing glutes to make sure that your pelvis twisted towards the elbows here, and stretch the shoulder blades apart, stay upright, and press elbows even harder against the stomach when you go to the first dip. And I know that it might feel kind of like a bit like a counterintuitive, because it kind of keeps your upper body relaxed, and you think, oh, it's like about to, I'm about to perform the jerk, like I need to maybe do something with my upper body because that's where I'm holding kettlebells. But no, that's the trick of the kettlebell sport. Let's legs do the work. Just let your upper body chill. Just stay here. Just rest on top of the pelvis. Arms, all what they do is just steer and make sure that the bell's just going into the right direction. But there's no help needed, from the strength perspective from your upper body. So you just stay neutral in your upper body. And from here will be a good, powerful bump. So well, I like impression with this. A piece of paper. So, well, and it's true for the rack fixation. So, you see, when they're talking about the rack fixation and well attached elbows on the stomach, so I mean elbows, not upper arm, which most of the athletes do, but especially, you know, let's say if it's a muscular athlete, so there's not a straight line of the upper arm, right? So the triceps here, so it's like somewhat curved, and elbow and a little away from the stomach. So that's why we want to like pull the shoulder forward and really make a connection with the pointed part of the elbow into the stomach. And yeah, like my impression is, you know, you're holding this piece of paper here by the elbow, and if you know this first dip, you know, losing slightly. I have a sweat, so that's why it's steep. Let's try it again. So I'm pressing the sheet of paper by my elbow, and if I'm losing the elbow connection here, well, it's flying off, right? So once you keep it attached, and it's even more important when you're at the bottom of the first dip. So you want to press this paper even harder. There, it's almost like you're not just holding it that it's not falling, but even if someone will try to pull it out of it, you see, I'm not letting it hit. So you're pressing on it hard. So that's the impression, you know, how good your rack fixation should be at the bottom of the first dip. And if you keep it this way, well, then you have a very great direct bump where, you know, you're pushing exactly the elbow, which is, you know, the bottom of the forearm bones, and the energy goes straight into the kettlebells without wasting, you know, your energy through the upper body, you know, when you carry the bells on the shoulders. So I can demonstrate a few reps. So first dip, elbow standing as hard on the stomach. And actually, also when you think about the lower back, it's also day and night. What's the difference between this style, when I'm staying upright and the whole weight of bells, you know, concentrated on my pelvis, versus, you know, style like this one, I lean back, or this way. The lower body pressure is much greater when you lean back, and especially in well, when you go to the first dip. So if you're leaning back, so you feel its maximum pressure on your lower back, versus when you stay upright, it's just neutral. It's nothing there. And your breathing also easier because there's not much weight on your chest. So it's a win by, you know, all categories. So press your elbows even harder into the stomach when you're at the bottom of the first dip, and then yeah, jerk will feel great. So good luck.